Bounty Homestead here inside Casey's kitchen. And if you've been following me very long, at least the last month or so, you'll remember that we did the apple processing. The apple cider vinegar that we made ended up making a SCOBY, or a mother, which we used to make kombucha. Well, I had several people to ask me, can I do it in a smaller size? And I also wanted to show you guys, since there was so much interest in making kombucha, how to make it from scratch. Now, the one that we did, I pulled off of, like, whenever we made the apple cider vinegar, the SCOBY was created on top of the apple cider vinegar that we made. I pulled that off and we made kombucha from there. But a lot of you may not have apples and may not be processing apple cider vinegar. So I wanted to show you real quick on how to start from scratch and make your own SCOBY to make a fresh batch of kombucha. So you don't have to make apple cider vinegar to get it, okay? I also had several people ask me, because I made a half-gallon jug or jar, and they were asking me, can I make small batches to see if I even like it? So that's what we're going to do today. I have a quart jar. Now, I'm not going to go much smaller than this because it does have to have room and enough tea and sugar to be able to ferment. So you need to at least start with a quart jar. Make sure it's clean and sterile because we don't want to grow bad bacteria. So make sure that it's been cleaned very well. And you'll have to go to the store and buy some kombucha. The best one to get, of course, is GT's or whatever cold raw kombucha your store may carry. You'll see here, this one is Watermelon Wonder. I just bought this one just to try it back before I started making my own. This was my favorite. They have ginger, they have the gingerade, they have different, I think there's a blueberry or berry or something, and then they have the trilogy. My store does not carry the original, so I had no unflavored kombucha to purchase. So I was like, well, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy something that I'm going to drink. And I don't care for ginger by itself, so I chose the Watermelon Wonder. It does not matter what flavor you get, because you're using such a small amount that it's not going to actually flavor your kombucha, because over time you're going to weaken it down to where you don't even know what you started with. And you're not going to taste this in the first batch either. So, I've got the Synergy Raw Kombucha here. Like I said, GT makes this. I just purchased this at Walmart in the cold section over by the vegetables and the tofu section. That's where it is in my Walmart. And you'll also notice in the bottom is the mother. So what you need to do ahead of time is to go ahead and make enough tea to be able to fill your jar up about 3/4 of the way. You can use green tea, black tea. You can also go back and reference the other videos that I did. ACV to kombucha is one of them. And then we did the part 2 of actually flavoring the kombucha. You can go back and watch that, and I show how to kind of start this process. So I have already pre-made some tea. This is just black tea, southern sweet tea. There's nothing to it, okay? Black tea, and you put sweetener in it. Now, I use, for a half a gallon, I put a cup of sugar in it. So, for a quart, you would put a half a cup of sugar, okay? Make enough tea and sweeten it with sugar. Like I said before, I cannot speak for artificial sweeteners or honey or stevia, because the sugar is used to feed the bacteria from our starter kombucha, and this is what's going to create our SCOBY. So you don't sweeten it to the sweetness that you like, because eventually the bacteria is going to eat that sugar and it's not actually going to be sweet, okay? This is diabetic friendly. This is on the low glycemic index. Go back and watch the ACV to kombucha video, and I explain a little bit more about that part. I'm not going to get into this one. This is just a basic starter video. So I've already pre-made mine. I made some for a party last night, so I already have some made. And this kombucha is stored in the refrigerator. So everything here is cold. One thing you want to remember, you've got to have your tea either cold or at room temperature, because if it's hot, you will kill the SCOBY. You will kill all the bacteria. So it has to be at least 100 degrees or less. So we could just say room temperature. We'll just go with that. Mine is cold, and the kombucha is cold, so this is going to warm up together, which is no big deal. Alright, so to get started, it doesn't matter if you shake this up or not. You can, just to get a little more bacteria. Treat it like Coke. Don't shake it too much, but, just kind of go around. You can swirl it, whatever. And then you'll see bubbles in here. I don't know if you can see the bubbles. See, there's bubbles in there. This is actually carbonated, so be careful whenever you first buy it. Now, we want to, probably for this quart, we're going to put about a cup in here. A cup is usually the standard for any size of them. You can do a 1.5 gallon. You can do a 1 1 gallon. It doesn't matter because it's still going to eat the sugar and it's still got to grow the SCOBY. So, we'll put about a cup in here. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Alright. So, that's about a cup. Well, that's probably 3/4 of a cup. Alright, so that's about 1 inch deep in this quart jar. And I got some of the goodies in there. There's some goodies floating around in the bottom in there. Okay. And now, all we got to do is pour our tea in. Okay. So we'll fill it up just to under the lip. I'm going to go right about to there. Doesn't really matter. You can stop down here if you want, or you can fill it on up. It's totally up to you. There is no specific magic numbers for this. Okay, so all we have to do now is we are going to lightly put a top on this. It does still have to breathe a little bit, but we want enough on there to keep any flies, any fruit flies, anything like that out of it. Fruit flies can get through cheesecloth. They can get through tea towels. So you want to maybe put like a paper towel over this and then put a plastic lid on it. Or you can just use a regular canning lid, or the top that came to a jar like this. This is an old mayonnaise jar. So if you still have the top, you can put that top back on there. Don't tighten it down. Just get it to where it just stops and then go back about a 1/2 turn. That way it still can get airflow in through the sides, but it won't let any bugs or anything in, because when they start smelling this sugar and this fruit, they're going to be wanting to get it too. So we're going to get this covered. We're going to let this sit on the counter, I haven't found that a dark place or a light place helps or hurt. So if you want to do your own research, that's fine. You can listen to whoever you research and find out about. Light or dark, it doesn't matter to me. I do leave mine sitting on the counter right over there. And I have a towel draped over it. Just because so many people come in and out that I don't want to gross them out. So I just kind of keep it lightly covered. So I guess you could say I keep it semi-dark. But, the lights are on in here. I've got windows in here. It's in light all the time. So I just drape a light cloth over it. And then that's how I keep it closed as well. So you can do that if you would like. This is going to take, you're going to start seeing in about a week, a really paper thin SCOBY. It's going to look kind of like plastic. And you're only really going to see it if you look real close around the edge, or if you peek in there on top, you may see like a white grayish film starting. That is your SCOBY. As long as it's not fuzzy, it's good. If it starts turning fuzzy, if you start seeing black mold, it needs to be thrown out. But as long as it's a thin layer, like a plastic film on top, it's good. So we've got to let this sit until we get a good little SCOBY going, which may take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. The first one I made took about 4 weeks for me to get one that I could actually pick up and handle well. And if you want to see what a new one looks like, go back to my accidental kombucha video from about, when did I do that video? It's been over a month ago, probably about a month and a half ago. we were doing the apple processing, and then we did an accidental kombucha. In that video, I show you the SCOBY. Now you want it to look similar to that one. It may not be that white because we do have this in brown tea. So the darker your tea, the darker your SCOBY is going to be. The lighter your tea, the lighter your SCOBY is going to be. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter what your tea looks like. I don't care. It's not going to care. It's going to create it. You know, it's going to create the kombucha that you're trying to make either way. As long as you feed it, and you feed it by giving it sugar. So once you get this process going, like I said, it's going to take between 2 and 4 weeks for that SCOBY to be created. Once it is created, hop back over and flavoring your kombucha, because that'll be the second part. This is the first part, is creating your SCOBY. The second part is going to be flavoring your kombucha, and I go into detail over there on how to do that. So guys, there's how to start a kombucha, growing your own SCOBY from scratch. It does take time. Now, if you happen to buy a SCOBY from me or from somebody on Etsy or YouTube or Facebook or some kind of group or Amazon or something like that, if you happen to buy a SCOBY from someone, make sure, 1, that it's a trusted resource, and then 2, you're going to skip this process and go ahead and add that one to a batch of tea, and then in a week you can do the flavoring of the kombucha. So that's just another hint, but I know a lot of you were asking about small batches and about making your own from scratch because you wanted to start making it. This is how you get started. So I'm going to try to remember to show you week by week on what it looks like. Got a ghost in the kitchen. So I'm going to show you week by week what it looks like and when it's going to be ready. So go ahead and start yours with me. And then follow up on my weekly videos. If you're watching this years down the line, go ahead and I have the weekly updates already set out so you can follow that series. And I do believe that is it. And I hope you guys go out and make your own SCOBY, make your own kombucha, healthy drink. You can see, let me show you real quick. You can see the little bits floating in there. Can you see them? There they are. Those look kind of like worms. That's funny. But that's what's going to grow your SCOBY. That's it. That's all there is to it. You mix this with that and leave it on the counter and wait. That's all you do. It's going to grow the SCOBY. It's going to eat that sugar, and it's going to have a heyday in that jar, making you all kinds of yummy goodness, aka slimy pancake. You'll see what I mean soon. So until next time, guys, happy kombucha. Bye.